Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Enhana Tarbiatunisa and I'm from Big A, the 6th semester. Well, in this occasion, I would like to re-explain, review, or present a material that we have discussed in our class talking about medieval literature. So, medieval literature has begun since 1066 until 1510. Medieval period, or as known as Middle Ages, is a period in European history between the fall from the Roman Empire in the West in 5th century to the Renaissance period around 15th century. It was one of the most turbulent and transformative period in history, popularized by Black Death, Magna Carta, and the Hundred Years of War. So, medieval literature is a broad subject, encompassing essentially all written works available in Europe and beyond during the Middle Ages, which is encompassing 1,000 years from the fall of the Western Roman Empire, ca. 500 Anno Domini, to the beginning of the Florentine Renaissance in the late 15th century. So, next is when were the Middle Ages. So, most scholars associated the beginning of the medieval period or the Middle Ages with the collapse of the Roman Empire, which occurred in 476. But scholars disagree about when the period ends. However, some put it at the start from the 15th century with the rise of Renaissance period, and then in 1453 when Turkish forces captured Constantinople, or in 1492, yes, 1492, when the Christopher Columbus first voyage to the Americas. And then we move to the books in the medieval period. So, the majority of books in the medieval or in this period, in the Middle Ages, were written in what is known as Middle English. So French and Latin were also used for the law and the church. Spelling and grammar were inconsistent in these early writings that make them hard to read. It wasn't until the inventions of the printing press in 1410 and spelling began to be standardized. So, the literate people of the time were likely in either government or the church. Book and the parchment itself were often made by monks, and it was a time and labor-intensive process. Everything was done by hand, and books is really expensive to produce. However, as the middle class grew and literacy expanded in the later of the Middle Ages, people might have owned a book of hours or a prayer book produced by professional artisans and copiers. Next is the literature in medieval period. So, much of the early literature of this period consists of sermons, prayers, living saints, and homilies. In secular medieval literature, the figure of King Arthur, an ancient British hero, attracted the attention and the imaginations of these early writers. The first appearance of King Arthur in the literature is in the Latin, which is the history of the British king in 1147. So, included also in this period, the Epic of Beowulf, which dates back to the approximately the 8th century. We also can see works like Sir Gawain and Green Knight in 1350 until 1400. Also, the Pearl in 1370. Both works, or both of these works were written by anonymous authors. And then Geoffrey Chaucer's works also fall into this period as well. Like, the first is the Book of the Duchess in 1369, the Parliament of Fowls in 1377 until 1382, and then the House of Fame in 1379 until 1384, and then Troilus and Cresside in 1382 until 1385, the very famous Canterbury Tales in 1387 until 1400, the Legend of Good Women in 1384 until 1386, and the last is the complaint of Chaucer to his Antipas in 1399. Well, another common theme in medieval literature is courtly love. The term courtly love was popularized by writer Gaston Paris to describe the Gaston Paris to describe the medieval love stories commonly told to help noble class pastime. So it is generally believed that Eleanor of Aquitaine introduced these types of tales to the British nobility after hearing them in France. So Eleanor used the stories, which were popularized by troubadours, to impart lessons of chivalry to her church. So you have to know that at the time, marriage were seen as a business arrangement. So the courtly love allowed people a way to express the romantic love they were often denied in a marriage. So we move to the last part. Is about the troubadours in the Middle Ages. So what is troubadours? Troubadours is traveling composers and performers. They mostly sang songs and recited poems of courtly love and chivalry. In a time when few could read and books is hard to come by, troubadours played an important role in the spread of literature throughout Europe. So, though few of their songs were recorded, troubadours helped shape the literary cultures of the Middle Ages. So, I think that's all for my explanation. Thank you very much for your nice attention. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.